We already know the rule, the i'rab of mubtada and khabar. Both of them are marfu, marfu'an. Okay? If you put inna or anna into your sentence, we can't call this now mubtada. What do we call it now? Ismu inna, ismu anna, depending on what particle is being used. And now, as a result of that, the i'rab also changed. It's not marfu anymore. What's the i'rab? It's now mansub. Okay, with fatha. Anna Muhammadan. And now, for the cover of inna or anna, that stays marfu. We can't say anna Muhammadan. We don't change the i'rab of the cover of anna stays marfu. Okay? So, if we come back down here, al-qalamu jadidun. Right? If we put inna in this on this sentence, inna al-qalam, oh, we can't keep that there, right? We can't keep it rough. So what do we have to say? Qalama. Inna al-qalama jadidun. Right? So if we analyze it, we say inna is a particle, is a harf of tawqeed, of emphasis. Inna is a particle, it's a particle. Right? We have three types of words. Inna is a particle. And it affects the i'rab. It's only used on mubtada and khabar, originally, aslan. Right? It's going to change the i'rab. Right? So, qalam now, we don't call it the mubtada now, we call it the ismu inna. And the i'rab of ismu inna is that it's mansub. Jadid, before inna, was the cover. Cover for what? For the mubtada, but this is not the mubtada now. So, jadid is the cover of inna, kabru inna. And the cover of inna i'rab is that is marfu. So you see now we have a conflict now. We have a clash now. Not the same now. Everybody got with me? Let's come on down to our dual. Right? Now you see how, now we can see how this works now. So if we say innal qalamaini jadidani. Innal qalamaini. Inna harfu tawqeed, particle of tawqeed. And nasb, right? It's going to force nasb to come out. So qalamain is the ism of inna. Right? Everybody with me? It's the ism of inna. If we take it away, it's nothing more than this sentence now. Al-qalamani, this is mubtada. But now, if we don't call it mubtada, what do we call it now? Ismu inna. What's the i'rab of ismu inna? It's mansub. Right? The dual is made mansub with ya. The dual is made mansub with ya. How is the dual made marfu? With an aleph. Okay? So you see now, have different functions, different purposes now. Okay? It's not just for being a long vowel. It has a purpose now. This is where many people, when it comes to i'rab, many people stop studying Arabic. They go study something else. German, French, Spanish. They stop studying Arabic when it comes to i'rab because they don't understand it. Because it makes the mind go all over the place. Allah says, لَعَلَّكُمْ تَعْقِلُونَ. Aql. Understanding. If you want understanding, you learn the i'rab. This is what Allah says in the Quran. First ayah in Surah Yusuf. First 3 ayahs. Right? لَعَلَّكُمْ تَعْقِلُونَ. So that you can understand, reason. This is Arabic. No other language does other than Arabic. None. Okay? Aleph is a long vowel. But it all has another function now. It's also telling me that it's a dual. It's also telling me that it's the sign of rough. So, I mean, all them things at one time going on. It's not just when you first learn to read, aleph is a long vowel. It's more than that. Much, much more than that. Okay? Now come in. Innal qalamaini. Right? Innal qalamaini. Right? Innal qalamaini. Right? Qalamaini is the ism of inna. Right? It's dual. In the sign, is the i'rab is that it's mansub. How do we know it's mansub? Because we see the ya. Okay? Jadidani. Okay? Right? So normally we translate inna like verily, indeed, surely, those kind of, it's because it's a word, a noun, it's a particle of emphasis. We call it tawqeed in Arabic. Tawqeed is to strengthen something. So we put that the column, that the two, in this case, the two columns are, right? In this case, okay? Right? So why do we start out with that? It's because in the first bait, Imam Ali, he said, Innal makarima akhlaqun mutahhara. Did I see that first line? That first portion? Innal makarima. Why is it mansub? Why is it mansub? It's ismu inna. If we take inna out of the way, how will we read it then? Al-makari mu. It's not an issue. Why is it mansub? Because of inna. Inna al-makarima akhlaqun. What's akhlaqun? What's the position of akhlaq? I'rab. It's the cover. It's the cover. إن المكارم أخلاق مطهرة. مكارم. Makarim. You should see in this word the root letters. Kaf, ra, mim. From the verb karuma. Okay? We should have some idea what karuma is. We should know some words that have this word in it. Kareem. Anybody know any other words? Huh? Ikram. Any other words we know that has this root, these roots in it? That's probably it. Okay. If someone is kareem, what does that mean? Huh? Generous. Come on, what else? What else? Let's stop right there. That's a good start. Generous. Generous in what?
Character.
It can go to character. Come on, what else? Huh?
Possession.
Giving. Like if you have, like someone who's kareem, that means he gives. He or she gives money. They give sadaqah. This is kareem. Okay? But we want makarim. So we want the word makarim. Okay? If I go to your dictionary, makarim. You of course go to the root, of course, but the actual word we want to find, so we can get to that plural, is going to begin with the letter mim. Okay? When you find it, just for time purposes, just call out the page for your rest of the classmates. Yes, that's the one we actually want, but you go to the root still.
822.
Everybody see it? That's it. That's the singular. And you see our plural. That's our plural. Okay, you see right here. But here, notice this how they being used together to have, it's almost similar. Okay, everybody see it?
No.
So everybody see makram. Makram. Or you can put tamarabut on it, makrama. Okay, so you see what makrama means what? It means a trait, a character, a quality. See it, Ali?
Yes.
Okay, that's something that's in. Remember, I think we talked about this before. You either got it or you ain't got it. It's one. This is not something that come, either you are or you not. That's the kind of verb karumat is. Okay? Okay? And so you can see, and you see, so he says, in al makarim. So this is a plural. In al makarim. Akhlaqun. So, if we want, because again, I want to make sure we understand it. Inna, we understand the word inna. What is it doing? Is put emphasis. It's highlighting makarim. Most definitely, al-makarim is akhlaqun mutahhara. Mutahhara is being used as a sifa, as an adjective for akhlaq. Do you know what the word akhlaq?
Behavior.
Huh?
Character.
It's there. It's being used, but it's just being used different. Notice the difference. This here, aleph lam, that is the other way around in the dictionary. Okay? That's just an idiom expression, but it has this. That's the same meaning now. Okay. Okay. But look what is. I want you to pay attention to the words that's in this word. Khalq. We know that word. What does that word mean? What's the verb? Khalaqa. What does that mean?
To create.
To create. What's interesting, see, what we may not think about is that you understand why. Let's go to the dictionary and look at khalaqa so we can find this word. Then you probably get where I'm going. Khalaqa. Kha, lam, qaf. You found the page, Maui?
Yeah.
Call that out for your class. Call that out for?
258.
Okay. Everybody see it now? You see the verb itself, but we want to go to. Yeah. And that's the verb. So we want this word right here. That word. But here we want this one right here. Cloak. Cloak. Not showing it. That's not the one. Everybody see it? The actual noun we want, this is the plural. We want the word that says khulq. See it? See it, Ali? Okay. Kwan, see it? Khulq. Yeah, I know it's in the dictionary. Yeah. Yeah. Not this one. Not this same as one. This one. That's the singular. That's it. Yeah. Now you see the meanings of it now. Everybody see the meanings of it? What's the impression you get from makarim and akhlaq? What's come first thing looking at the meaning? Huh? No. Something about makarim and akhlaq. What's something about it that stands right out about the meaning of those two words?
Generous character.
It's natural.
They're both good.
You getting there where I'm going. If you look at the meanings, they're almost identical.
Oh, yeah.
Makarim is almost a mirror of akhlaq. They really the same thing. Look at the meanings, akhlaq or khulq, right? That's what's said. I mean, because of what the verb itself means, it's something that's, these traits are something that's already in you. It's not something, in other words, it's not, people used to go to the places, they go to charm school. Blacks ain't never do that, white folks. They have to.
Learn how to be beautiful. Yeah.
All the crime they done done, all the wrong they done done.
That was a real thing?
Yeah, Charlie, they
I
used to
thought
go
it
to
was like a
Charlie
joke.
school. No. What's the word? Swear, debauch or something, or learn that stuff?
Debauchery? Debutante?
Yeah, debutante, all that stuff. Yeah, that's it, debutante. Yeah.
Learn how to walk right. To lie. To be a
Yeah.
liar. Because it's not really you.
Part of the social class, and yeah.
Feel like-
How to, yeah.
How to front.
How to front.
This is how you
That's a mess. Wow. I thought that was a joke.
Huh?
It is. You know, I
You know.
thought it was not. When they go to church,
Okay.
they come back and kill people. Charmingly.
Yeah. All right. But the point that I want you is that akhlaq is from the verb khalaqa, to create. So it's all, this is part of our nature, to act a certain way, to have certain character. When you out of that, you out of Allah's creation. You understand? You out of that. When you not, we're supposed to behave and act accordingly, not any other kind of way. And when we do that, then Allah knows best what we become. Okay? So, Imam Ali said, إِنَّ الْمَكَارِمَ أَخْلَاقٌ مُطَهَّرَةٌ. Mutahhara. We should know this word mutahhara. We should see the word tahir in here. Huh? Tahara. We see the word tahara. Right? So, these characteristics, these traits, these natural traits are what?
Purifying.
Pure. They're what?
Purifying.
Purifying. That's the word. Purifying. Mutahhara means purifying. Meaning you can use them, because we learned this in our fiqh class. You can use, like water. Water is the mutahhara. You can use water to clean. It's tahir in itself, but it's also an agent. It's like a detergent. So they are detergents to purify and clean your character. Right? That's what said they one and the same. This is what mutahhara means. إِنَّ الْمَكَارِمَ أَخْلَاقٌ مُطَهَّرَةٌ. The traits, the natural traits, the natural disposition, the fitra, are purifiers, are detergents. Okay? Everybody got it? Try to memorize some poetry. Try. إن المكارم أخلاق مطهرة فالدين أولها فالدين أولها والعقل ثانيها فالدين أولها فالدين, we know deen. فالدين أولها, first. The first of what? These detergents is the deen. If you want to work on your character, the first thing you have to put in order is your deen. Right? We got this, remember, from Akhdari. Right? First thing you do, make your deen sound. You can't do it. You see how the Salaf, they stay consistent with the same statements. They don't change. Right? Imam Ali is the Salaf for us. Imam Qadri, when we looked at that text the other time.
The one before that.
Right.
Like, oh, yeah.
Right. Remember, if you think about it, it said, Tashihu Iman. That's the first thing you should, yajibu ala mukallaf. Tashihu Imanu is to correct, purify your iman. So Imam Ali, he said, فَالدِّينُ أَوَّلُهَا وَالْأَقْلُ ثَانِيهَا. وَالْأَقْلُ. What you said? Intelligence is not, it's that, but it's more the ability to reason. This is aql. This is what separates a human being from an animal. We have aql. Okay? I want us to go and look up this word aql. Good word for us. Ein, Qaf, Lam. Ein, Qaf, Lam.
Six what? 6:30. 6:05. Yeah,
Just keep reading.
wow. Wait a minute. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's kind of unreal. But the first one hit you off. Where dialed.
Everybody see it?
Yeah. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah. The meaning there?
Yeah, now what is where?
What's the word?
Right there. Where give you?
I don't know.
Yeah, Kwame, you know. Look it up real quick, find out what
Okay.
that means.
As we mentioned earlier, like Allah says in Surah Yusuf, Inna, that same word of emphasis is used in this ayah. Inna anzalnahu, what? Who goes back to the Quran? Like the ayah says, Alif Lam Ra, tilka ayatul kitabil mubin. Inna anzalnahu Qur'anan Arabiyan la'allakum. La'alla. La'alla is also one of these words. It's from these words. We have many of these words. We have about 6 of these words. Inna, anna, lakinna, la'alla, later. We have, about 6 of these words. La'alla, la'allakum ta'akilun. The verb akala, this is the masdar. You see, so you have to read on down, is the ability to be able to reason, to comprehend, to have intelligence. This is aql. So Imam Ali, he said, إن المكارم أخلاقها مطهرة فالدين أولها والأقل ثانيها. Right? Go back in line to what we was talking about. Right? Once you put your deen in order, then now you have to start on how to apply it. This is the aql. This is the understanding. Okay? So the second thing, athaniha. Athaniha. Right? وَالْعِلْمُ ثالثها. We know ilm. Right? وَالْعِلْمُ ثالثها. What's ilm? Knowledge. Once you know something, once you have the right, now you got to put that ilm into practice. وَالْعِلْمُ ثالثها. Right? We talk about things that's gonna make sure that our disposition is correct and clean, because all these things, they're detergents. Right?
Those 2 words, akal and ilm, are
Almost,
connected.
yeah.
That, are they?
And what do you mean?
Because when we was talking about akal, you're saying the ability to reason.
Mm-hmm.
The ability to reason, does that
Proceed.
does that proceed, or is that connected to having knowledge or something?
What did Imam Bukhari say?
No.
What?
No.
No.
Action.
Say
Knowledge
it.
comes
Knowledge comes before any actions.
Right.
So these 2 are really, they really one and the same. But
No,
Yeah,
I was
I'm thinking
saying
of it
because
differently.
I think I'm thinking of the way you're thinking of because you, as an animal, doesn't have the ability to reason, so animal can't really
He
gain
don't-
knowledge like that.
Right.
Whereas
Right.
they just do what's instinctual.
Right.
Whereas we have to have the ability to reason. You have to be mukallaf, you have to be sane and have the ability
Right.
to reason
to
to
get
get to that.
appreciate
That's major.
this ill.
That's major.
That's really
Right,
major.
that's
That's
right.
major.
That's what
That's
right.
major.
Right. Because once you have akal, like for an example, a person who don't have their akal, who's majnoon, for an example, the ilm don't have no benefit.
Right.
But for a person who has the ability to reason and to discern between what's right and wrong, and if he don't use the knowledge, he don't use that discernment, now what?
So a person who has the knowledge of something, who doesn't know how to apply it, hasn't gained that.
Hasn't gained that.
You don't have that knowledge. It's not
No.
knowledge if you
You
don't.
don't know how to
Right.
apply it. You apply it in the wrong place.
Like, do you have a car if you don't drive it?
Right. Realistically.
Realistically, yo, can you take me to the store? No, it's just
Just gonna sit there.
it's cool.
Watch it every week.
Look good, don't it? I need to go to the store, brother. Wow, that's major. That had you sort of, because I was trying to think, while he was saying, I was thinking about what he was saying. Then when he came back with, like, you know, it's something that where they go, where everything seems to be coinciding with each other. And I was trying to figure out how that connected with that.
Because akal is like, when he's mentioned akal, I was thinking about just like everyday stuff. A dude who don't have any the ability to reason, you say something I don't like, we fight.
Yeah.
There's no sitting down and trying to work it
Reason
out.
with
That's
There's
no
no
akal,
reason.
right? No akal.
Yeah, you're not a reasonable
And
person.
a person who can't do that, how can they get
But if you don't have that, like if you don't have that ability right there, you
You
can't
can't
go
get-
to, you
get
can't
to
go
that.
there.
That's right.
And even if you get there, it's not
It's not
really
gonna
that.
benefit
It's
you.
not really,
It's
it's
not
not
that.
really that.
It's
It's
not that.
information in that at that point.
That's it.
Right. Grandma said that when you know better, you do better.
He said it before we said it. A long time ago. Because we've been talking about this, like that whole those three things, that process right there. We've been talking about it, but we just put it in a way we know how to put it. But to know that you know someone great before us had put it the exact same way. Like we were talking about, like if you don't use what you learn, what good is it? Like if we learn all this Arabic and we don't never pick up a book to actually utilize it. Yep.
Okay. Right. So we got it. So we understand. إن المكارم أخلاق مطهرة. فالدين أولها والعقل ثانيها والعلم ثالثها. Okay. والحلم رابعها. والحلم رابعها. والحلم. Hilm. We talked about this briefly a long time ago when we first started class. I may have, with y'all, I may have talked about it. I know, but Halim, we know the word Halim? This is the next word that, we have. Forbearing.
What's can you give me that to me in like American English, not British English? Forbearance. What does that mean? Like I kind of got an
You know
idea,
what that
but
means?
can we break it down?
Patient.
Continue to be patient.
Right, but see,
patient, patient.
but we have another word for this here. What's the other word in Arabic that we
Sabr?
use? Two different types. We have sabr and we have hilm.
It's deeper than that, the hill.
Yeah, because
Hilm,
okay.
Actually, is kind of.
no, actually, hilm, we know sabr. Because if you notice, it comes up, وَصَبْرُ ثَامِنُهَا. Look, hilm rabi'uha. Hilm. Both of them means patience. He used the words forbearance. But the difference between them is this here. This is the patience when you can't do nothing about it. You can't do anything about it.
Which one, hill?
Sabr. You can't do nothing about it. You just have to be patient. Right? You in a situation and you can't change the circumstances. So you have to have sabr. That's what sabrun jamil. But this hill is you have the ability to change it, but you still reserve. That's
That's a different type of patient.
Right, exactly. You know, I mean, no, like for an example, look, I'm glad my wife is here because I got to exercise Hill now. She got to exercise Hill. No, really, look,
Yeah, I know.
think about it. In our relationships as husband and wives, for some strange reason, they know the buttons to push, and we know the buttons to push. I mean, but you got to exercise. It's something else that if it was a dude on the street, y'all probably be, we'd be rocking. But with your wife or your husband, you can't just go there. Although you may want to. Let me see. Let me stand over here. About suture and whatnot. That's Hill. Where like Ibrahim was Hill. Ismail was him. That's why I said, if you go to, he was Halim. He didn't have to lay down, He could have got up, man. He ain't letting you slaughter me.
You gotta make me lay down.
Yeah.
Yeah, you getting whooped by your mama, ain't nothing. Everything.
All right?
Like for instance, like if somebody's talking crazy in front of the masjid, we could whoop them, but we just chill, just hold that back. No, there's sometimes there's a reason. Yes.
But Allah is Halim. Allah could punish us for every single thing that we do, but He chooses not to.
And He has the ability to do it. That's Hill. So you see, it's more. So even though they wrote many books on sabr, and this is just one type. So it's not just, it's easy to say be patient, but what kind of patience do you exercise?
Hilm is like fasting.
No, more than that.
No, but like if you're fasting, you could actually eat something if you wanted to. Yeah, you could. You physically could.
You wouldn't be fasting, right?
Oh yeah, okay, you would be fasting or you be eating.
All right. So we see that, right? So he says, "Wa ilmu thalithuha wa ilmu rabi'uha." Okay. Right. So we have awwal, athani, thalith, rabi. Right. First, second, third, fourth. And then the hat all going back to makarim akhlaq. All these are detergents. Again, remember they're used as cleaning agents for our character.
So you add the half to the numbers, it's like adding fourth. It's like second, first. It's like first, second.
Yeah, that's what these numbers mean. That's what these. No, had is pronouns always go back to the noun it's talking about. In other words, him is the fourth detergent. The first detergent is deen. The second detergent, right? Aql is the second detergent. Ilm is so the ha is going back to this word here.
Which one?
The pronouns, ha is going back to the word mutahara. In other words, look,
That's what I was wondering where.
the deen is the first makarim akhlaq. Right? And so this is the adjective. How do you get this? How do you get this NA? That's the word. Something that's inward. How do you get that? How do you get that trait? Right? Because these traits, right? How do you get? Because if you have that, it's a cleanser. So